Got to get something down the field.
Love, it's picked up. Now rolling out for the first time, and he throws an interception. It's picked off all the way down, and scoring for the Lions. It's Joseph.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
And the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Only do that if you're telling the official you're reporting.
The Lions hangover.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Lions Hangover Podcast. I am Brad. Don't forget to find me on all social medias. You got the X, you got the Facebook and Instagram. That was my little thinking noise. Lions did it. Lions improved to 7-1 on the season. They go up to the Lambeau Field and they win 24-14. The Lions have now won 5 of their last 6 against the Green Bay Packers. 5 of their last 6. Not too shabby, man. Not too shabby. I think the first 2 of those were against Mr. Aaron Rodgers, weren't they? Yeah. So you can't even say like, oh, well, it's because we don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. We escorted his dumb butt out of town. So you guys are happy about that anyway. He's somebody else's problem. But yeah, Lions moving to sole possession. I mean, they had sole possession, but it would have been trouble if they had lost today, especially to Green Bay, because Green Bay would have overtaken them. Green Bay falls to 6-3, though. Like I said, the final score was 24-14. Lions, though, they did all their scoring in the second quarter. Oh, my God. Lots to talk about. I would say, man, I really want to be mad at the refs. But honestly, the Packers got penalized more. But, you know, obviously the big one is against the Brian Branch ejection. Of course, I don't think this is biased. I think common sense would say he should not have been ejected. He's not a dirty player. He lost his cool a little bit after he was ejected, but, you know, rightfully so, I feel like. And, of course, that brought on an additional penalty as well. I think he was caught flipping the double bird to maybe New York. Yeah, maybe the refs. Probably. Maybe to the Packers, likely, or to the Packers fans, which is, of course, understandable. Either way, he was ejected early in the second quarter, but it didn't take long for the Lions and Brian Branch's partner, Kirby Joseph, to get his pick 6. I know I've got some fun facts about that pick 6 coming up in just a few moments. You know, the Lions didn't have to do too much. Goff had a good day. He had a solid day, you know, statistically, but he wasn't called upon. It was raining like a mofo. You could definitely see it when they showed those extreme wide shots, you know, of the stadium and in front of the lights. That's when you can really see how much rain is coming down. It really didn't look like a bad day at all when they were just showing the football. Of course, then you see Aaron Glenn's glasses and they're just caked on with water, you know, rain droplets. Needless to say, I mean, the rumors are, I heard from some guy named Marv that MLive is reporting that Zadarius Smith will be a Lion either tonight or tomorrow. I hope that is true because the Lions had absolutely zero pass rush today. Absolutely zero. There might have been like a couple incidental sacks. If it wasn't for, I mean, the Lions would have played better. You know, they were affected by the rain, that's for sure. But Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles, they both had a good game today. And like I said, Goff didn't have to do too much. But I think the story of the game would be how poorly the Packers played. You know, I mean, like I said, I still think we would have won. We would have played harder if the weather was better, but the weather really affected the Packers. I mean, there were so many miscue snaps, fumbles. Jordan Love was not on top of his game. He threw that pick six. He threw lots of other balls that could have been intercepted. Bad decisions, possibly bad coaching, bad play calling. And speaking of bad play calling, I was not a fan of the double reverse to Khalif Raymond. It's not that I don't like that play call. I don't like that play call in this weather. I just feel like that's too much. The ground is not 100%. That play requires a lot of speed, which those guys have speed, but maybe not on that ground. Also, think of how many times that ball is changing possession on that play. I just feel like with the weather conditions, that spells bad news. So thankfully, the Lions didn't turn the ball over or anything, but Jared Goff did miss his block, and that play went nowhere. It went nowhere. So overall, I would say that was probably a bad play call. The Packers scored first with that field goal from McManus in the smelly anus. Yeah, I said it. What are you, 8? Yeah, probably. Brandon McManus, 30-yard field goal. Then, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown has his 3-yard touchdown pass on fourth down, which, of course, the Tom Brady and the other guy, they had a big problem with that. But regardless, it was a touchdown. Man, he did an awesome job getting both of his feet in bounds, too. That gave the Lions lead 7-3. Then Jake Bates kicks a 27-yard field goal. And, yeah, I was nervous. Wouldn't you be nervous? It's windy. It's rainy. You got a kicker that isn't quite proven with the short distance. He's a better long-distance kicker. But, yeah, then Kirby Joseph had that pick six with 32 seconds left in the half to make it 17-3. And then in the third quarter, Jahmyr Gibbs gets his touchdown with that huge 15-yard run, making it 24-3. And then Brandon McManus, he kicked a 38-yard field goal. He did have a missed field goal attempt earlier as well. And then finally, I would say the middle, right after that play, like mid-third quarter, the Lions just sort of put it into cruise control a little bit, Like they didn't have to worry about much. This is right when Green Bay was kind of struggling with snapping the ball. Like, we'll see how many fumbles there were in just a little bit. But yeah, Emmanuel Wilson, he gets a 2-yard touchdown run. And then they convert on the 2-point conversion. The Jordan Love pass to Christian Watson for the 2-point conversion. There were some stats there, but we don't want to quite get into the stats yet. There were 78,000 people, 330 at the game today. Well, I guess we will get into the stats. The Lions, they had 17 first downs. The Packers had 20. They were 4 for 12 on third down. The Lions were. The Packers were 3 for 12. Total plays of offense, the Lions had 55. The Packers had 62. Again, total yards of offense, Lions only had 261. They didn't do too much. They didn't have to do too much. Somehow they were just in control. And, unlike last week against the Titans, I just feel like the story was the Packers just kept shooting themselves in the foot, and the Lions gave them plenty of space to do that too. But the Packers had 411 yards of offense. But the Lions had 8 total drives. Packers only had 9 total drives. Passing, Lions had 137 to the Packers 273. We had 124 rushing yards. The Packers had 138. Although I thought we contained Josh Jacobs better than that. I'll look at individual stats in a second. I'm just going through the team stats here. Lions were 2 for 4 in the red zone. The Packers were just 1 of 4. Okay, here it is. 5 for 51 yards penalties. Okay, 5 for 51. The Packers were 10 for 67. Now, 2 of those penalties were on Brian Branch. So you take that play away, that one play that gave us 2 penalties. The Lions were only penalized 3 times, man. Really only 4 times if Brian Branch, kept his cool after the ejection. And I don't mind the penalty after the ejection. I would be pissed too. I am pissed as a fan watching it. That's not right. He should not be ejected for that. It wasn't a dirty hit. You could just tell, especially in slow motion, things don't look as bad, but he was trying to put a good hit on, and sure, he made helmet to helmet contact. So yes, penalty, but there was nothing dirty about that. Nothing worth like, oh no, you need to be ejected. Like it's just crap. Packers are only credited with one turnover with that Jordan Love interception, Kirby Joseph return. Lions had the ball though, 31 minutes, 11 seconds. They really took control. Really it would have been closer time of possession, but that last drive there where they were just able to go into the victory formation, that really ran off 4 minutes, So let's get to the individual stats. Let's talk about our boys. All right, we'll do Packers first because, let's get the crappy part out of the way first. Jordan Love was 23 of 39 for 273 yards, 1 interception. He was not sacked at all. I thought we had at least 1 sack. It would have been like a stupid sack, but he was not sacked at all. He finished with a 69.7 rating. Josh Jacobs ran the ball 13 times for 95 yards. Yeah, like I said, I thought we kept him in checks a little bit better than that. He did have a huge 37-yard play, but 0 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson ran the ball 4 times for 28 yards with 1 touchdown. A few other guys get credited with some stuff. Jaden Reed led the team with 5 receptions for 113 yards, as long as being 41 yards. There were times today when Jordan Love was able to complete a pass. He had some big plays. Our secondary didn't look that great, and you could probably chalk that up to not much of a pass rush. There wasn't enough pressure on Jordan Love because Jordan Love didn't look that great. He's got that bad hamstring. It kind of revealed itself a couple times, but overall, I'm still happy with the linebacking play, but the secondary, not so great. I thought Terrion Arnold played a clean game. I thought Carlton Davis played a clean game, but I'm not happy with Ennis Rakestraw and Amik Robertson. Those 2 guys, man, I need to see more. I know Robertson had those 2 punch-outs last week, but, even he was burned last week. I still need to see more from him. He's got to get better. I think he's a little bit of a liability right now. Look, I'm saying it. Okay. Christian Watson had 3 catches for 37 yards. Tucker Kraft, their tight end, 4 catches for 34 yards. Chris Brooks, he had 3. Romeo Doubs, he had that first catch early on, and I was like, oh, great. It's going to be a Romeo Doubs story today. But he finished with, 28 yards, only 4 catches. Okay, here we are. Jordan Love, 3 fumbles. He recovered 2 of them, and Emmanuel Wilson recovered the other one. Quay Walker, Crazy Quay. Maybe we should just call him Quazy. Quazy Walker led the team with 12 tackles, 7 solos. Let's see. They only had 1 sack today. I thought even they had a couple more sacks. No, nobody cares about kick returns. Yeah, McManus was 2 of 3. All right, so let's get to the fun part and talk about the Lions. Jared Goff was 18 of 22 for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. He finished with a 109.3 quarterback rating. David Montgomery ran the ball 17 times for 73 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs 11 times for 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Khalif Raymond lost 12 yards on that, what would you call it, a double reverse or a flea flicker? Or, I don't know. It wasn't a flea flicker because it wasn't a pass. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught the ball 7 times for 56 yards. He had that 1 touchdown. Sam Laporta, 2 catches, 28 yards. Montgomery, 3 catches, 23 yards. Khalif Raymond, 1 catch, 12. Patrick, 2 catches, 12. I don't remember 2. I remember 1 for sure. Gibbs had a catch for 11 yards. Even Brock Wright had a catch. I don't remember Brock Wright. I did see the Allen Robinson catch for 2 yards. Jack Campbell, great game today. He led the team in tackles with 13. Carlton Davis had 7. Brandon Joseph had 6. Of course, Brandon Joseph came in after the Brian Branch ejection. Alex Anzalone, he had 6. Terrion Arnold had 5, and then everybody else had 4 or less. Kirby Joseph had 4. Kirby Joseph had 1 pass defended. Carlton Davis had 2 pass defended, and that was it. Of course, Kirby Joseph had that defensive touchdown. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, Jake Bates was 1 for 1 on his 27-yard field goal, and he was 3 for 3 on the extra points. Jack Fox punted the ball 4 times for 200 yards. 200 yards, eh? His longest was 60 yards, and he was inside the 21 time. I thought, well, except for that last punt, I thought Jack Fox did an amazing job flipping the field. He continues to be a weapon. We're not surprised that he's a weapon, but I think, I think the rest of the league is figuring out that he's a weapon. So it doesn't matter. You can't avoid him, Like, what are you going to do? Let the Lions score so you don't have to face the punter? Like, that would be redonkulous. Lions, they played great, man. Played great. But mediocre at the same time. I feel like this game, it's hard to criticize this game because you see so much more they need to work on. But at the same time, you can just blame the weather conditions. If it wasn't for the weather, it would have been a different game. I like to think that it would have been a closer game. You're definitely expecting a blowout, and I think the weather really prohibited both teams from opening up the playbook a little bit. We didn't see too many deep shots. We saw lots of, we didn't see too many yards after catches. We saw some big run plays, and we definitely saw some pass highlights. But both teams after the catch, of course, Jordan Love threw the ball 40 yards in the air, but even after the catch, there wasn't so much yards gained after the catch for both teams. Just from my memory, there might be one play or so. Not too much to really pick apart. I want to, just because the Lions have more they need to do. The good news is, though, that the Lions do play in a dome next week. Their next outdoor game isn't until December 22nd against the Bears. That is insane. We don't play outdoors again until December 22nd. And we play 2 outdoor games in a row. We play the Bears and then we play the Niners. I'm working on a special guest, especially for that 49ers game. I think I've got something lined up. I am excited about that. But yeah, the Lions play the Texans next week in the Dome for Sunday Night Football. Let's get to the little bit of a fun fact here. If you haven't heard yet, St. Brown reached 4,000 career receiving yards. This is the fastest player in franchise history with only 57 games to hit that benchmark. So congratulations, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And of course, he also had a 6 straight game with a receiving touchdown. That was amazing. 6 straight games with a receiving touchdown. This franchise record belongs to Herman Moore, and now he shares it with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got to think St. Brown is going to get this record next week. I think they're going to do all they can to give St. Brown this record next week. So if you are a betting man, make sure you bet that St. Brown will get a touchdown next week, that he will score. Make that one of your prop bets. I feel like that's almost guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed. I love Herman Moore, but what wide receiver deserves that record more? It's got to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I look to him to get a touchdown next week. I just got a feeling that that's going to happen. And of course, Kirby Joseph with that interception. He's the first Lions player to record a pick 6 against Green Bay since 2000. It's been 24 years. 24 years since the Lions last had a pick 6 against Green Bay. He is also the first Lions player to record a pick 6 at Green Bay since 1979. So these are 2 different players. And he's the first Lions safety to log a pick 6 at Green Bay since at least the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. So there's lots of little fun facts there. I got it. It was Mr. Lamar Campbell. What game was this? This was at the Pontiac Silverdome. I misread the quote. I thought it was in Green Bay, but it was Lamar Campbell, October 8th, 2000. That was the last pick 6 against the Packers. Lamar Campbell. The Lions won that game 31-24. And for the October 14th, 1979 game, played at the Milwaukee County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Mr. Walt Williams with a 36-yard interception. The extra point on that failed. Green Bay went on to win that game 24-16. See, aren't you guys happy you tuned in? Now you know. People are going to ask, do you know who the last person to do it? Well, it's Walt Whitman, man. Walt Whitman was the last person to do it at Green Bay. Well, we're going to close it out on that. I will be back. I'm just going to go ahead and say Thursday night into Friday. You guys will have the preview show Friday morning. So that's it for me. Thanks for tuning. Please rate, subscribe, smash. Oh, damn it. I was going to do that at the beginning of the show. Smash that subscribe button. Right? I hope you enjoyed your pizza and beer. I know I did. Jets barbecue chicken pizza. Let's get Jets. That's not a pay promotion, so I don't mind singing the song. Thanks for listening, everybody. I will be back in a few days. See ya.